Hey everyone, what's up? My name is Joss and welcome back to my channel squibblesreads. Today I'm going to be going through my September TBR, a lot of which is made up of my currently reading pile. As some of you guys know, I have added about 40 hours of work and internship on top of my already busy schedule being a full-time graduate student, so over the course of the next couple semesters I will be a very busy person. So currently I am uploading videos on Monday and Thursday. Because of these new additions to my schedule for the month of September onward, I will promise you guys one video a week and then an additional video if I can manage it. I don't foresee it being that big of an issue, but being like punctual and definitely uploading on Mondays and Thursdays is something that I've always taken pride in. So I did want to alleviate a little bit of that pressure on myself this semester because just having all of these obligations, I want this to be more of a self-care thing and less of an obligatory thing. This will never be my job, and my school will always come first. I'm just trying to like minimize my burnout as much as possible, so from here on out, definitely one video a week. Most weeks it will probably be two, but just to make that promise to myself, I think is the easiest way to do that. So anyways, in terms of my reading, I am in the middle of quite a few things right now, and these are all good things, so it's not like a slumpy, I don't really know what to read type of thing. I've just started a whole bunch of things and haven't really had the time to finish them up, but I do plan on doing that in the next little while, so without any further ado, let's get on to the books. The first book that I'm in the middle of is Arabella of Mars by David D. Levine, and I picked up a copy of this at BEA. This is about Arabella, our heroine, who is a human girl from England who has grown up on Mars with a Martian nanny, so she's really familiar with like the Martian language and the mannerisms and stuff. Unfortunately, something happens and she has to be sent back to Earth, but then there is some family drama and she really needs to get back to Mars as kind of like a personal mission. She dresses like a male in the same vein as like Mulan, and she tries to get on this rogue ship of sky pirates to make her way back to Mars. It is just like a big bucket of fun, and the first night that I read it I stayed up until like 3 a.m. and I really wish that I'd finished it and stayed up even later, but in hindsight it's probably good that I did go to sleep. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore, but I will definitely be finishing this up in the next little while. I'm also in the middle of Dragonfish by Vu Tran, which is a buddy read with Christina from Lulo Fangirl. It is about a guy named Robert who is a policeman in the city of Oakland in California, and his Vietnamese wife Susie has just left him and divorced him 2 years ago. He finds out that she has actually gone missing after getting married to kind of a shady dude who is involved in the underbelly of crime in the Vietnamese community, involving some like gambling and smuggling in Las Vegas. This book takes us through that whole world as well as the mystery of her disappearance. We also get to know Robert through his distress and the conflict of like whether he should actually still care about Susie or not, and the interaction with him being a policeman and being involved in something like this simultaneously. Again, something that I am really enjoying and just didn't have the time to finish up. The third book that I am in the middle of is The Tidal Zone by Sarah Moss, and I've seen this one going around BookTube a lot. One of my very good friends, Lauren from Lauren in the Books, did an amazing full review of this book and she adored it. It's one of her favorites of the year, so I will leave the link to her review in the down bar below if you want to check it out. This is a literary fiction book about a stay-at-home dad named Adam whose 15-year-old daughter Miriam has one day just suddenly collapsed and stopped breathing. It goes through his struggles and worries as well as kind of like the parental expectations that society has of maternal and paternal figures, and like the responsibilities and pressures that society places on these like traditional family gender roles. I think my favorite part of this book so far is the writing. I am not too far into it, but I am looking forward to continuing on. I'm also making my way through the Man Booker Prize long list, and I will make a video reviewing some of the books on the long list as well as talking about my opinions about which ones I will think might show up on the short list or as the Man Booker Prize winner. That video I think is being planned to be filmed to go up on September 12th, which is the day before the shortlist comes out. Okay, so moving into my actual September TBR, so like the books that I will start in September. The first one is a buddy read with Kirsty from Melbourne on my mind, except it's really not because she's already finished it. She's like the fastest reader in the world. But this book is Blackout by Ragnar Jonasson. This is the second book in the Dark Iceland series. We also read the first one, Snowblind, together. Our detective's name is Ari Thor Arison, who lives in the small fishing village of Siglafjordur, and in this book he is investigating the murder of a man who is brutally beaten to death on a bright sunny day, and I think there is some other reporter who comes in and is trying to figure out this mystery, and this kind of causes some issues with his own investigation. I'm really happy to be continuing on with this series and eventually talking about it with Kirsty, because the last time we read the first book together, our conversation somehow devolved into Channing Tatum and chicken nuggets and how people get our names wrong all the time. So really looking forward to that. The second book on my September TBR I actually heard about from, of course, Book Riot, and this is kind of like a quintessentially me kind of book. This book is Krista Dora by Tim Murphy. It goes through the lives of a few people who live in the iconic Manhattan Village apartment that is called Krista Dora. We have a couple who has a lot of artistic values named Millie and Jared, and then their neighbor Hector, who is a Puerto Rican gay man. He actually used to be a very prominent AIDS activist, but unfortunately, sadly, has gotten into a world of drug addiction. Later on, we meet Mateo, who is Millie and Jared's adopted son. We get to see the evolution of all of these characters and how they intertwine, as well as the evolution of the backdrop of New York. The last book on my TBR I also heard about from Book Riot, and this book is Problems by Jade Sharma. It expands upon Maya's life, who is our unlikable female narrator. She is going through an affair and some problems with her marriage. She's also a heroin addict and has a lot of struggles with her own mental health. Also very quintessentially me. I get kind of like a case study vibe from this book. I've heard that it is feminist in tone and talks about judgments that society has about women at a certain age and women in certain relationships. So all themes that I really enjoy seeing in a book. So that is it for this video. If you guys have any comments, questions, or anything else, please leave them for me down below. As always, thank you guys so much for sticking around and watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!